Okay.
So, you getting that?
I'm getting it. I don't get it.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Subway!
for September 23rd, 2025. My name is Bernie Burns, sitting right over there. She does get it. It's Ashley Burns. Say hi to Ashley, everybody. She gets it.
The girls that get it, get it. The girls that don't.
Speaking of getting it, you were right. People got the drop from yesterday almost immediately. In the Rishith comments, we had our winner straight away. It was from
Congratulations, Nabs.
Pretty Woman, which I want to point out. Pretty Woman. Get ready for this one, everybody. Start your Tuesday off with a bucket of cold water. Pretty Woman came out 35 years ago.
Okay.
35. That's almost two generations ago.
You know what's weird about that is when I watched that, I must have been, a kid-ish. And at the time, I wouldn't have thought of that as like a new release. It would have just been like a movie that we watched as a family. Probably my mom had it on a VHS. But it must have been like a brand new movie.
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah.
People went to see Pretty Woman in theaters.
I think I went and saw
It's
Pretty
weird
Woman
to think of some
theaters.
movies as just ever having been in theaters. Like, they just always existed, right?
Yeah.
They're just a movie that has always been and always will be. A Pretty Woman feels like one of those movies.
They made a sequel to that Godfather movie? We should go check it out. Go see it. What's the first movie you remember in theaters?
Bambi.
Like, really? The posters and like...
I just remember being in the theater and it being, there was the fire in it, and I was like, what is happening? I think it was like 4.
Yeah, the first movie I remember was Jaws. Like, not that I went to see it. I don't know, maybe I did go see Jaws, but I remember that Jaws was a big deal and it was a movie and you would go to movie theaters to watch it. I don't know why. And this is, weirdly enough, was like the first summer blockbuster.
It was basically what made summer blockbusters a thing, because prior to that, they weren't really a thing, right?
This is going to tell you how much our culture has changed. They wouldn't put good movies out in the summer because people wouldn't go indoors during the summer. They would be out doing stuff. So summer was where they would put movies to go to die, basically.
Right, or like put their like little budget stuff, the stuff they didn't expect to do well.
Yeah, I'm putting on a summer movie.
And then there was Jaws.
Go figure, the movie where if you go to the beach, you're going to get killed by a shark. That's the thing that...
got people to go inside.
That changed that trend. That's what did that. The guy who wrote the book said he regretted writing the book years later.
What, because it demonized sharks?
Yeah, demonized sharks so much. I have to admit, it's like you could tell me till you're blue in the face how nice sharks are. And I've actually was on a Shark Week show. We went swimming with sharks. I'm scared shitless of them.
Well, you can't be friends with a shark, right? There's sharks and they're in the water and they may or may not have an interest in eating you, but that doesn't make you friends, right? You look a shark in the face and those eyes, they got no friendship for you. They got no love. They got eat and they got don't eat, okay? They got like don't taste good. And if you're really lucky, you fall in don't taste good category.
Also, if you don't have like hands and stuff like that, the way you check something out is just maybe a little bite.
Give it a little chomp.
Give it a little chomp.
Just a tiny chomp. And when you got a lot of teeth, a tiny chomp, still a big chomp.
Yeah, it's a little chomp to you is a big chomp to me. We're not on the same page chomp-wise.
Speaking of chomps.
Can I say, though, real quick about Pretty Woman before we get too far away from it?
Yes.
So originally it was a much darker script. It was a movie called 3000. Which is the movie that Julia Roberts...
Is that a sequel to 300? Or like...
No, it's the prequel. But it was the amount of money that he pays her to stay with him for the whole week is 3,000.
I see. Okay.
That's a great scene too, where he said, she goes, I would have taken 2. He goes, I would have paid 4. But so the movie, but it ends, it's really dark. She's a drug addict. I think it ends with her just like him pulling down an alley, opening the door and saying, get out. And that's it.
Shit.
Really like very, very dark.
It would be weird to have the entire movie exactly as it is, like with its tone and everything, with the shopping montage and the polo match or something. And then like have all that and then just get out.
Yeah. Or
and then credits roll.
She overdoses in the bathroom and he has to hide the body or something like that. Yeah. That'd be weird. The Gary Marshall picked up the script. I'm not sure why Gary Marshall like saw this like dark script about a drug addicted prostitute. But then turned it into a lighthearted comedy and one of the most classic rom-coms of like the early 90s, right? So, yeah, so interesting. But you can go back and see interviews with her where she talks about it. And it was like, that's a big shift when you sign on to one project and it turns into something completely different.
Right. I mean, like, in that point, you're under contract. So I guess she's lucky that she's really great at rom-coms if she signed up for like this really dramatic film. And then they're like, surprise, genre shift.
It's crazy too, because she was talking about like they would go to lunch and be writing pages of the script at lunch, which is, I always hear about people making movies that way, and it sounds insane to me.
Look, we were hearing about the new Avengers, like Doomsday, being written as they're shooting it. And they're like, yeah, we don't know all of this scene. I just know my parts, but I don't think they're finished writing this scene. I guess that movie's now wrapped principal production at least. And I hope by now they've finished the script, but you just don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
You don't know. But today is kicking off. This is very important. I know we're going to talk about a lot more stuff today, and it's very serious. So I want to start with a little pre-palate cleanser, and that is Fat Bear Week's here. And in following with the, I compared it to wrestling and having like the dramatic storylines that you can follow through from year to year. We missed a detail yesterday in the crowning of Fat Bear Jr. Fat Bear Jr. is 128 Jr. You know who 128 is?
No, is it me?
It's Grazer, baby, last year's champion.
Oh,
So this is one of Grazer's cubs.
So this is a sibling to the cub that was killed.
Yes.
This dead cub is like really important to this overall competition.
This storyline is absolutely bonkers. So as
They
a
need
result,
Gary Marshall to come step in and turn it into something beloved.
So I think as a result of being crowned Fat Bear Jr., a 128 Jr. is now on the bracket for Fat Bear Week. And he's on the opposite side of the bracket as his mother. So there is a chance here that we could be looking at a face-off between Grazer and Grazer Jr.
It's so funny. The Bears know nothing about this. They're like,
The Bears are just like standing in a river, like eating fish or like going through like someone's dumpster. They don't know. They don't care, but we're so invested.
they have zero clue that any of this is taking place.
You get one of those bears, you're like, let's go do an interview with Grazer Jr. Grazer, how do you feel about this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing?
Somewhere there's like a conference room with a bunch of park rangers sitting there, and they have like the index cards up on the wall writing these stories. They're like workshopping stuff.
Like, what do you think we can do with the Grazer storyline this year?
Listen, guys, people stopped watching Disney this week. This is our opportunity. We can do a land grab.
Tune into the Bears.
So you're now, I guess everyone can watch Disney again. Maybe.
Yeah, so Disney has announced that Jimmy Kimmel will be returning to the air tonight.
So look, the names are important here. ABC has announced that he's coming back to the ABC network. But where this all kind of started, which was with these two groups of television station owners, Sinclair and Nexstar.
And Sinclair and Nexstar are specifically like local affiliate networks, right? So they run local TV stations, and that can be affiliated with what? They could be ABC or NBC or CBS. They could be a number of different stations.
So
Is that right?
The way it works in America is the FCC provides licenses for broadcast stations. This goes back to like legacy TV stuff. We had a low power license for TSTV when I was in college, that college television station I was talking about. It was a big deal that we had a license for Channel 9. It was a very big deal, and people tried to take it away from us. But because it was part of the university, which is very important to Austin and has a lot of power, we didn't lose the license, so we got to use it. So you basically get a license from the FCC for you can broadcast within a certain VHF band. Then you have a television station which has the ability to do that. The television station can then affiliate with one of the major networks. So we used to have independent channels. We call those like UHF channels. You remember those from when you were a kid?
I remember the movie.
Yeah. And they would have like, that's where I saw wrestling for the
Weird
first
Al
time.
Yankovic, am I right?
Yeah, those were like channels above like 14 or 15, right? So you can affiliate with, say, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox now as well. So the major broadcasters, those networks, which that's what the term network means. It's a network of TV stations.
So then what, you get their programming?
Yeah, so then you would get whatever programming they have. Or in this case, you could say, I'm not showing this thing. And so some of these licenses or these, I should say, affiliation contracts are coming up for renewal in 2026, which becomes important to all this because this is from Deadline. Nexstar has not yet announced what they're going to do. Sinclair has said they are not going to put Kimmel back on their airwaves, so they're not going to be broadcasting it. And it says that the station group Nexstar has 32 ABC affiliates total. Nexstar and Sinclair together represent about 1/4 of ABC's reach to households. That specifically means broadcast. What does reach to households mean in 2025?
Well, I mean, that's interesting to me because it's probably the type of demographics you're reaching as well, right? So I'm assuming that if you're watching broadcast TV, you are in probably an older demographic household, right, that never made the switch to digital or found that too much faff to deal with. And a lot of the older demographics are also tend to be more conservative. So if you're trying to reach a conservative demographic, broadcast TV is probably it, right?
I would say in the UK too, we're a little bit more in tune with this world with over-the-air broadcast television, because in the UK, you have to pay a yearly license fee, like registering your car or whatever. You have to register your TV with the BBC in order to enjoy it.
And it sounds so weird to have like have you paid your TV license?
Right.
Right. But it is a thing that you have. And it's actually not just for like over-the-air broadcast, like via an antenna or something. It's if you watch live TV, which becomes important if you're watching something like BBC Live or like live sporting events or something. You're expected to then pay a TV license for this access to live TV, however it is delivered.
It is weirdly, too, one of the most aggressive agencies that enforces that stuff.
They have people that go like door to door, like knocking, like slipping papers under your door, like, we see you when we're going to come for you.
They send you threatening letters.
Do you watch TV? And the thing is, like, I'm not 100% clear on what that covers. Like, Netflix just had some boxing match or some fight anyway that they paid like $80 million or something for the license for this one fight that so many people watched. It was a live event, but it's not a broadcast event. It's a Netflix thing. Does that still count? Do I have to pay a TV license to watch the Netflix fight?
Sinclair, we should also point out, was the subject of a very viral video, like 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh, it was actually longer than that. That was 2018. That was a video that went around. We'll put it in the link dump because it's fascinating to watch. They went viral for this, where they had a script that they had all of their local affiliate news hosts read that was talking about like responsible one-sided journalism and all this. And it was, it was creepy to watch like dozens of different sets of news hosts read this one script. Mm-hmm. And it gets really weird and uncanny the more hosts it switches between, because the script doesn't change, the people change, but their demographics don't change. It's like the same people, but a different people.
The weird thing is,
it's the same genre of different people. It's very strange.
The more diverse it looks, the more homogenous it seems. It's a really eerie. The person who edited it did a tremendous job. At one point, they put like 9 of them on screen at one time, all speaking synchronously, and it's really, really creepy.
It's fascinating to watch. So yeah, that was a couple years ago. They went viral for that, and I guess that's another effect of like this sort of like affiliate news network thing, is you can have like a local news station that's still reading the same script as another local news station.
Right. And so to be clear too, Sinclair owns a lot of different television stations with a lot of different affiliations. For instance, in Austin, Sinclair is not the ABC affiliate, they're the CBS affiliate. And I've actually lived in markets before where a local television station will change affiliations with another local, they'll swap.
They trade?
Yeah, like Fox and CBS change channels.
So does that mean that like, if you're trying to watch like Full House, instead of watching Channel 7, you have to watch Channel 9?
Well, it sounds so antiquated, all this stuff, but if you start to look at terms that we use in our modern language, the way we talk about stuff, it all stems from this stuff, because like you even talk about the rise of cable news, and we talk about cable news and people getting their news from a cable news station. That means not a local affiliate. It's what that means. That's where that stems from.
Right. It's like a whole national thing.
Yeah, and we use that term now to basically be kind of a catch-all for like partisan bubble news, on one side or the other, but that's what that stems from.
It's so crazy. So the bottom line is Kimmel has been announced as returning to air. We don't have details on exactly like what the talks between Kimmel's team and ABC looked like, so we don't know what the return is going to look like yet. But
can I insert a cynical note here?
You may.
I think that like the person who's at the forefront of free speech, because we're leaving out a big thing here, I'll get to in a second, he's going to make a lot of money from this. Like, they're going to throw money at him to try to save him. Somebody pointed out that Disney, who owns ABC, the network that then affiliates with the local television stations, they're completely fucked because everyone started to cancel their subscriptions when they were upset about Kimmel. Everyone who was upset about it. Now that he's coming back, people are canceling on the other side, and no one's going to turn it back
There's
on.
no way. Disney just doesn't win.
Alien
out of
Earth
this.
is good. Not that good. I wonder if we'll see, because we see this go back and forth a lot, the pendulum as it swings in the U.S. Will, in the near future, Disney divest from ABC, the American Broadcasting Company?
I mean, it's an interesting question where right now we seem to be in a phase of consolidation, but at some point there will be another phase of spinning off parts of businesses, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess technically you could consider Warner Brothers Discovery as being in that part of their phase right now because they consolidated and now they're unconsolidating.
But then somebody comes along with a big bag of cash and goes, maybe you're not doing that.
Right, and goes, maybe I'll buy you both.
Maybe you're consolidating even more. We're missing a huge step here, though, which is that the initial pressure came because the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a podcast on the Wednesday after Monday's monologue by Jimmy Kimmel, where he said the things that we put in the quote from last week, essentially saying that the MAGA gang was doing everything that they could to paint this shooter of Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And so then the head of the FCC went on a podcast and said things like, we can do this the easy way or we can do this on the hard way, and was specifically putting pressure on ABC and Disney because of, quote unquote, misinformation surrounding the shooting.
Yes. And so that was seen by a lot of people as an overstep by the FCC and infringement of First Amendment rights, which has been, I think, a big part of sort of Kimmel being at the forefront of this First Amendment's debate, which is very strange to me. Like, I never thought that Jimmy Kimmel, like the guy from The Man Show, would be at the forefront of like First Amendment
I know what you mean.
overstep discussion, but that's the reality that we live in. And
Kimmel
so,
also said, by the way, reports are that he will not apologize when he comes back. He's coming back tonight on the air.
yes. So I'm curious to see what that return looks like.
So tune in with your broadcast television aerial, like get it tuned to ABC, or just watch it on YouTube a little bit later, where the rest of us do. Yeah, so he's going to come back on the air. The interesting thing to me about this is not that Jimmy Kimmel's at the forefront of it. The interesting thing about it to me is we're having a free speech First Amendment debate about one that's actually about the First Amendment. Usually it's like somebody said something and they got banned from a website where they signed up to terms of service. They got banned from it. And then they say free speech, First Amendment, and all that stuff. It's like, no, this is literally what the First Amendment is. This is about the government trying to keep someone from saying something that's critical about the government or just something in general. The government is essentially stepping in, applying pressure. That's what the First Amendment bars.
Right. If the FCC hadn't been involved and ABC had taken Kimmel off the air because it was their decision and their decision alone, that is a different debate, right? But the fact that the FCC did step in and exert pressure, that's where the First Amendment itself comes into play.
Yeah, it would have been a totally different discussion about like cancel culture and everything like that and this side and that side. But this is First Amendment. It's one of the things we've watered it down by talking about free speech and First Amendment rights about everything and anything. But this is an important one because this is what it's all about right here. So it'll be interesting. Jimmy Kimmel's coming back on some of the air tonight. Next steps are, I'm curious, it might be revealed by the time this podcast comes out. Will Nexstar decide to air the Jimmy Kimmel Show as well? Sinclair has said they will not. They're going to preempt him with local news programming, which they are in control of, which is interesting. And then we'll see what happens with Disney and ABC and whether or not there's a right political spectrum boycott now of Disney and whether or not the people on the left who boycotted and canceled their subscriptions come back.
Will that include ESPN, do you think?
Well, there's apparently one of the pressures that Disney is feeling is that they're trying to get a deal through Congress of some kind of big merger negotiation with ESPN. I actually don't know the details of that, but the ESPN thing is on the table for sure. Well, that's the thing too, is like with all these roll-ups and consolidation, the tendrils go so deep. How do you like completely eradicate something from your life?
It's difficult.
Difficult. Yeah, difficult to say the least. What I'm curious about too is this is great to see like action in place and a boycott working. Like some of the estimates that I've seen of the losses that Disney has suffered have been like $3.7 billion.
I'm not sure what the source of those is.
I think a lot of that is market cap analysis, which is just like they take the overall value of the stock and then see the drop in the stock price and then say, oh, this is how much we've cost them. You don't actually know what it's done on their, on their P&L or something like that. Like what's their actual loss from this? We'll see. And sometimes these things that happen in the US, like if you boil down the Kimmel thing, it's the media personality president has a commission that monitors all the media companies in America. And the media commission put pressure on a media company to punish their media personality who said something mean about another media person. It's like all this American media stuff always takes the forefront because guess who's reporting on all this stuff? Meanwhile, there's lots of other stuff going on in the world, like 3 Russian jets encroached Estonian airspace this last week.
Yeah. So I guess it was 3 Russian jets. They said they were flying from like one area of Russia to another area of Russia, but they flew, according to Estonia, through Estonian airspace and scrambled some NATO jets. I think it was specifically Italian jets that scrambled to intercept and chase off the Russian fighter jets. Russia says they were nowhere near Estonian airspace. They were in international airspace, and that's all there was to it. So they're denying it completely. But Estonia is basically invoking Article 4 of NATO, basically saying that they're bringing it before like the council, which is interesting because I think last week Poland might have done the same thing about some Russian drones. So there's a lot of invoking of Article 4 going on right now. A lot of airspace being muscled in on by Russia, according to NATO partners.
So if you want if you want a new term to put in your vernacular for 2025, drone insurance. People are now spending lots of money on drone insurance.
What, like in case their drone gets shot down?
I think in case they're hit by a drone. Yeah, Russians are massively insuring their homes against drone attacks, as confirmed by insurance company. The volume of drone damage insurance market grew to 40 billion rubles in 2025.
Oh God, I was picturing like if a drone like actually ran into someone. You're saying if people are insuring their homes against drone strikes.
Yeah, we dealt with something like this back when we were on The Amazing Race. This is a decade ago now. We showed up. We were traveling through Turkey like 2 or 3 days after the Russian jet was shot down over Turkey. Remember that?
I do, and it was a subject of much concern to basically everyone on the race. Also, because tensions are really high, and then you have a bunch of idiots running around with camera crews looking like insane people.
Yeah,
and that was something that we were very worried about.
We weren't in Turkey, but we were going through and near Turkey, like airspace and stuff like that. But everyone was avoiding that airspace for a little while.
Yes,
it's weird too because we were in kind of a like news blackout at that point in time. I read a really interesting account of 9/11. Do you know who Ethan Suplee is?
I do
probably
not.
would recognize him if you saw him. He was in like some of the early Kevin Smith stuff. He was a big fat dude, and then he got completely ripped. Like he's a giant of a dude.
Good for him.
And he was talking about how he was in rehab when 9/11 happened. And they went on a field trip that day, and they had heard like about a plane crash in New York. And when they came back, the like rec room was locked down and they couldn't go in, and they were working on stuff in there. They hid the news of 9/11 from everyone in rehab because
they thought it would cause relapses.
Right, exactly, because there would be a lot of trauma, and mental stress, and it could cause relapses. That's what he was saying in his Instagram story. So he didn't know about 9/11. It was kept from him, and then he came out of rehab and got to learn about it like after the fact.
I feel like that would be a weird thing to come out of rehab and learn. And is the risk that much less really if you learn about it after the fact? Like you get released back into the wild and then you find out about this bombshell?
It's addiction, man. You do what you can when you can do it.
I
You
guess
know what I mean?
so.
You give people the best chance they got, I guess, in that case. Yeah, so it's interesting. Is like you learn about these things too. I think the big news for this week is that the UK, Canada, Australia, and now France have all officially recognized Palestine as a free and independent state.
So I have some questions
That's a very big
about
deal.
that because it seems like it's it's going to be complicated for a lot of reasons internationally and in terms of who's recognizing what. But from a physical perspective, my understanding there's West Bank and then there's the Gaza Strip, and they're not physically connected, right? They're like Israel is between them.
Yeah.
Is that right? How do you have a country that's sort of like split in two?
You can do that. Like look at like Hawaii's not part of the U.S. Alaska, Canada lives between Alaska and the continental U.S.
Oh, I guess that's a good
But
point.
Alaska is part of the United
I guess
States.
no, that's a good point. That's
yeah, I mean
a good
the
point.
precedent absolutely exists. So yeah. So but in other world news, Ashley, we can end on this. I hope you're ready for the rapture, which is
Oh my God.
And when did this? Usually, you hear about these rapture events months or years in advance. I'm look. You can't notify me on a week that the rapture's coming up tomorrow, Wednesday, right?
No, depending on the time zone, I guess today or tomorrow, they're not entirely sure based on the translation. So,
I gotta pack my bags while watching Kimmel tonight? Is that what I gotta do?
So there's some people like this very like online fringe groups that are convinced that the rapture is coming today or tomorrow, and that have been like getting rid of their stuff in preparation for being taken in the rapture, like
selling cars,
like getting rid of their cars or their possessions. I initially saw this because like some lady on Instagram was like, you would not believe how crazy Facebook classifieds are right now, like the Facebook marketplace where people are like just selling off their stuff because they think they're about to get raptured.
Why sell it though? Like
or giving it away, whatever.
Give it away. Okay, that makes more sense.
Well, that's the Christian thing to do, right?
Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna like have a big money bag over your shoulder when you're like getting lifted into the sky?
Yeah, I hadn't really heard about this. I was familiar with the rapture of 2012, right? Like I knew when that one was coming up, but I guess this one is like specifically like these online groups, and it can be hard to trace back. But specifically, here we go. There was the Mayan
trace it back
calendar.
like 2,000 years, I think. I think I can find the origin for this stuff.
Here's the thing is I saw another thing that like the rapture was like invented as a concept in like the 1830s. There's nothing actually about like only the righteous being like pulled into the sky. It's all about like the second coming, right? And when the second coming of Christ happens, then I don't know. You
7 years of hell on earth. And
apparently
rise
everyone
of the Antichrist.
and also the rise of the people into the sky, whatever. But the Bible has nothing in it about like only the righteous getting raptured. But people, that's become like a popularized thing, right? It's become like its own like splinter philosophy. And so a lot of people now think that there's this other one coming.
They actually name Jimmy Kimmel by name.
According to Joshua.
They call him James Kimmel, but you know, it's the Bible. So.
Malakela, a religious man from South Africa, has basically said that he knows God is going to be coming to rescue the Christians out of the world September 23rd and 24th.
Dude, I saw a video that somebody posted on TikTok and they were reacting to it. And this was like a normal, regular looking, you see her at Target suburban mom. And the whole subject of the video is what she's doing in her house to get it ready for the people that are going to have to be taking it over because they got left behind. She's buying them Bibles. She's got laminated index cards of scripture that she's putting around so that she can try to help save them after the fact. And she's very concerned about them. And I'm hearing like kids running around in the background, like while she's making this video and doing all this work to prepare her house for the people who get left
for other
behind
people to move into
and need
it.
to use it for shelter and stuff like that. And what can she do for them? And it's like on the surface, like, oh, that's kind of nice. Just below the surface, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, it's like, well, also like, what does your day look like tomorrow?
Oh, well, yeah, that's it. That's like a whole like Netflix series of like apocalypse or rapture +1. Like, what does the next day look like? Maybe the first day or two, you're like, maybe we got the date wrong. Right?
Right.
Yeah, there's like this calendar or that calendar.
Some
we're
calendar
off.
missed a leap day somewhere. So like, you know, you can probably keep that going for what, like a week. But after that, like how many leap days can you have missed before the calendar catches up to you? And you're like, oh, it just didn't happen.
Also, if you buy a car
Yeah.
or take a car
Yeah.
or whatever from these people, you're an asshole. Like they should be able to get their car back from you a week from now,
I
right?
mean, should they? This is like,
You're taking advantage of
choice.
somebody in a bad situation, I think.
Well, I mean, maybe they're making the choice to get rid of their car, though. They are so sure that they're about to be saved and you're not. You're going to be left in hell on earth that they're like, here, I'm going to do you a solid. This one needs like front brakes, but other than that, you're good. Have a car.
When I was
And enjoy hell.
15 or 16 years old, a lady in our neighborhood sold me an Apple II computer and like 120 games on floppy
All
disk
on like, were they the big floppies?
for like $30. $30.
Okay.
And computers, by the way, that's not adjusted for inflation. Computers have been like $2,000 forever. They've always been $2,000. She sold it to me for like $30, like lawn mowing money.
Okay. And so like the next week, did you go back and be like, hey, lady, sorry, I took advantage of you. Here's your computer.
I found out why I got such a good price.
Why?
Let's just say she also sold golf clubs that week, and she also sold surfboard that week as well.
Was this before 2012?
No, she was getting divorced, and she sold all of her husband's stuff when he was out of town. And I shouldn't admit this the day before the rapture. I kept my mouth shut with my $30 Apple computer. I kept my mouth shut.
Look, if you had an Apple II computer and you had like 130 games, you must have had Eliza.
Dude, I had Aztec, Conan the Barbarian, Spare Change, all these great Apple games. All of them. They were fantastic.
Well, now you know you're staying on Earth when the rapture happens tonight or tomorrow, sometime around when Jimmy Kimmel airs, I guess.
It might be a little bit hypocritical of me to say you got to give these people back their car, but I was 15 and it was the 80s. It was the era of Revenge of the Nerds, okay? It was a different time. Now we know. We're more enlightened now. We're post like 8 raptures between then and now, so you should know better. Give these people back their goddamn cars.
No, I'm saying keep the car.
And also lock the rec room so they can't learn about 9/11. These are people in trouble. These are people in crisis. All right, Ashley, who do we have to thank for leaving us behind as they rapture tomorrow?
All right, well, enjoy your rapture, Jacathy and Elliot Rarer. Thank you both so much for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere and roosterteeth.com. Enjoy the sky.
That was not a threat, by the way. All right, that does it for us today, September 23rd, 2025. We'll be back to talk to you tomorrow, maybe not Thursday. You'll be here as well.
Well, no, I assume we'll be here. Bye, everybody.